All right. Hello, everyone. This is Crazy, aka Why Must I Sign In? And here we're watching a fun game 5 vs 5 between Sabre6 and DPA. With me right now is Abra,
Hello, everyone.
and there's some other people in here too. We'll see if they end up saying anything. But I'm going to go ahead and say the ships now. So we got J Quest opening Plague and 2 Mutas with 0.61 speed. Because it's a 5 vs 5, he has that little bit of extra minerals, so the openings will be a little bit funky. We got Praetor Alex opening 4-3
User
Colossus.
left your channel.
Jimber opening range rockets. Bled opening one laser with feedback on the Arbiter. And then we got Dark Uncle with the explosive charge opening.
And on the top team, DPA, we have Nox at the very top levy, who's pushing on his counter, the OV, with 4 tentacles. He also has Mutate on the field. Laptop Panda, the Raven with EMP. Raphael Frigate with 5 missiles open. And he's been keeping them nice and steady on that Colo, who's now out of shields. Lucky Devil on the Colo, who has some shields compared to his counter. And the Void Ray LSD, who has just dodged a mine from his opponent, the Destro, on the bottom lane.
Take note that Ellis is also farm denying their Destro on the bottom there.
So Dead, you're also commenting. Awesome.
Yes, I am here. Hello,
Alright.
everybody.
Alright, so you guys have done your tournament matches for the day, and now you're just having
This is time to relax.
Yeah.
This is fun play watching our competition. One of the teams has not played us yet, DPA, so we're watching them very closely. Nox, the Levy, has been upgrading relatively freely on the field. He has been upgrading as he's attacking J-Quest, so he's a little bit ahead, actually.
Yeah, I think what the first thing that just jumps out at me here is that in a 5 vs 5, I generally feel like the Void Ray can a lot of the time be a lot safer choice because you get the payoff from it so much faster. So here, I feel like I like DPA's comp just a little bit more, just because I feel like they're going to be able to get LSD up there and ready to go.
I totally agree.
LSD is having a hard time farming right now versus Dark, though. He's starting to fall behind. His farm denying is not going the way he planned, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's only 4 minutes, so I think the team with the Void will expect to lose a little bit of farm just in the first 4 minutes, in the hopes that by the 6 minute mark, it will be practically even. And it's really not much of a difference here. They're basically neck and neck, and every now and then DPA actually comes ahead, partly because yeah, Nox in the
Crazy.
top.
Yeah, Crazy. I'll one up you on all those comments, actually. So the frigate, I totally agree. I think that the Void Rate comp should actually lose the first engagement and the first push, and it has not. In fact, the Destro in its lane has not been able to effectively take advantage of that and swap lanes and make himself useful. Furthermore, I think their middle is what carried them, and it's also worth noting that for later on that they do have an ARB their opposition. Sabre6 at the bottom, red team has an ARB, which is not a very good counter to the Void Ray. And so the ARB and the OV are going to be really the only 2 ships that are going to effectively counter the Void Ray. And I don't think it's going to be very effective given that the blue team has a Raven.
Some lovely commentary by Fig here.
He always has something wonderful to say.
Yeah, Arb versus Raven is always an interesting matchup. Overlord versus Leviathan. I mean, I like that the comps feel very different here, so at least it's an enjoyable game to watch. Whereas a lot of the games sometimes end up, when it's 6 vs 6, sometimes it ends up being, one ship difference for each team. It's splitting hairs practically.
User
Yeah,
joined
I
your
think
channel.
at this point the only 2 ships that are in common are the frigate and the Colo.
Because everyone has to have a Colossus. So much Colossus love lately.
Loving it, especially those people who made the map. They definitely favor the Colo. They like their tanks in general.
Oh, Blood is taking all sorts of siege creep damage.
I like that the red team warped in on the field, also avoided the siege creep, went through the middle, are putting their efforts where it counts, and didn't bother, worrying about that siege creep. They're pushing DPA back very effectively and very decisively, I guess.
Exactly what they need to be doing here since they're down 100 farm and they want to make it up. They're not going to be able to stay here long because Praetor Alex is very low. So they basically have to come out as soon as the other team comes out. LSD hasn't really developed yet, sitting there on 700, 800 minerals. Let's see what does he get.
Risky move, Novi in the farm in the base like that right there.
Yeah.
I guess everybody can take one warning at some point. Some people can live with it.
No beam speed, 4 beam, Nova,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Warp.
check out this levy on the top lane. He's getting ready to push. It looks like he has frenzy and intercept.
he
So
has
he's
that-
getting pretty mean looking here.
Yeah, he's thirsty. He even got the intercept. He is ready to dive and stay dived.
Yeah, I feel like Jimber's pressing his luck here.
And I think the levy is kind of pulling him into a false sense of security. I think he's just happy farming and owning like the 2-3 lanes up top that he's farming.
They don't know anything about him. He'll spin out of control.
Yeah, and then the moment that he's going to push 1 second too far, it's going to be the end of that. Nox is just biding his time.
Oh, is their Destro going to be in trouble here?
Oh,
here
here
comes
comes the
the
frenzy, here
frenzy
comes the
just
blink,
so that
everybody's
everybody
going to
in.
be on it. And his teammates are not turning. Nobody actually thinks that he's in trouble. Alright.
I think he's got back, but I think he may have learned a lesson there about being overextending his welcome.
Well, he did
Void
have the
has
0.71
beam
speed. He was kind of a fast Dreadnought, so if he had been any slower, more of the team would have caught up to him and gotten more rockets on.
Now, notice what he upgraded. He went immediately 10 armor as a result of that last engagement. That was just to make sure that that never happens again. Now, I'm interested that he hasn't really got any more energy nor prot there. Oh, here's the Chrono Torp, and oh
Did he
my
get the rockets
god.
on? First
Yes,
volley,
I think he
second
has
volley.
it. Oh, no, there comes
it's,
the DMAP.
It's going to be hard to finish this. He's really extending
Focus.
very hard here, but he just needs one more
He's
volley.
very
One more
good. He
volley.
Just
One
needs
more
to
volley.
focus, just to focus.
Oh!
Oh my god,
Too
and he
late.
didn't
Oh!
He missed the volley.
focus enough. And that just had him killed.
But they might pick off Raphael. They might get a consolation prize here. It's going to be tight. No, actually, I'm not sure. Dark doesn't have any gaps.
I don't think he
Without-
can get him.
Yeah,
He needs a mine right now. No, mine.
He got the mine, but he needs more gaps to be able to finish the
has-
deal, seal the deal.
20 health.
Took him to the
Yeah.
altar, but just
No good. If they can't
No
get it,
good.
it's gonna be game over.
That's.
And
I
unfortunately,
feel
I
like
think
that's
that
going to be
is-
GG right there for them.
That is GG. If you look at Nox's farm, I think he's going to be pretty hard to contain now.
Yeah, it's not looking very favorable.
Yeah. And that's possibly the risk with these end game ships that they tend to spin out of control on the side lane.
I mean, that you get to the end game real fast with 5 ships versus 6.
Much faster, certainly, and I think even faster than that you do with 4 ships. But that's
A secret.
a lot of the games have been played with 4 ships, just because I guess the tournament members haven't really been able to coordinate their schedules to all show up at the same time. So there have been a lot of 4v4 games and 5v5 games, and this is kind of this is just a friendly matchup, but it's representative of what's been happening in this tournament.
Well, we definitely were not short on players here. We this could have been a 6 for 6 if you really wanted it to be.
Well, I think
I
they
was
wanted
referring
to stick
to just the
clans.
tournament games.
Yeah.
This is just a friendly game.
Yeah, I think they wanted to stick with their clan, and they wanted the Sabre6 versus DPA. They didn't really want anyone else to be involved.
Now, it'd be interesting to see if Praetor Alex actually gets hardened shields here. 'Cause he's getting beat to hell without them.
And the prod field on the Destro, I'm actually really disappointed that I'm not seeing a prod field. In fact, the blue team should probably take advantage of that. If they see no prod field, they should immediately go ion cannon. Even if it's just 1 or 2 upgrades difference in between one and the other, but they should use it, and they can use any advantage to keep that contained or to keep them pushed in.
They have an arms.
if they could have set up a warp trick here, you know, I almost wonder if maybe Blood could have flown out. Because if Dark actually could, you know, like maybe get on Panda, they could have tried to get back in the game somehow. But basically,
I feel a warp trick would be very detrimental to their health right now because since essentially they're a player down and their Dread doesn't have any real DPS other than his mines, so that could actually work out really bad for them if they,
well, I
they
mean,
go that
it
route.
could work out really bad, but they're already down a ship in a 5v5. So I mean, when things are this dire, I feel like it can be pretty tempting to just try to make something happen. I mean, I guess if they're fighting for in-game, they go for Arbiter Overlord, maybe try to get some side blasts in the late game, but I don't think they're going to make it to the in-game where they could really do that.
Well, and what's interesting here is actually that most teams are going to favor cutting out the Void Ray. So like they have 4 ships, they have to counter the other 4 ships that the blue team is putting out. They're going to ignore the Void Ray and they're going to let it free farm, and ultimately it's probably going to be the Void Ray that's going to be their kill mech. Maybe the Levy, maybe the Void Ray, but I think the Void Ray is going to spin out of control. Ooh, let's see what happens to that Raven that's stalled in the middle, and that's kind of a derp. Unfortunately, there's no more Torp to catch it.
Yeah. But yeah, it partly depends on who you have on your team too. I mean,
Watch the Levy in the top lane, guys. Here it goes.
I think if you have LSD as your Void Ray, you are...
I think they're about to lose their OV right here. Could this be the end of him?
Yep. And they have nothing to turn that around.
They can't capitalize, so that's game.
Oh, it was over the moment that they had lost the frigate and they didn't return the favor.
Yeah, if they'd got that Colo, it would have been a nice trade, but they missed it.
Yeah.
Nox has nearly double anyone's farm, so he's a machine.
But yeah, I think if you have LSD, you run Void Ray, because I mean you got to go with the strengths of your team, right? I mean if you have a solid Void Ray player, you run Void Ray, and if you really don't have a next level Void Ray player, probably don't.
Yeah, especially in a tournament where you have to really bring that A game and you really can't afford to just have any dead weight, especially in the side lanes. No offense to you, Dead.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think I play a great sideline ship.
No. It was just a reference to your name, dead weight, side lane ship.
Oh, I got you. No, look, he stopped and he got him in the bubble.
Lots of love for Chrono Boost on the Arbiters today.
Chrono's great, but he has nothing that can really benefit from it at this moment. He's kind of shut down. It's a useless up.
So what's the deal with Force Field right now? Because I've noticed like practically no one getting Force Field. Is it because
Force Field against this comp would be almost useless, just due to the fact that the frigate will just go back and get Rip Waves, which will bypass the Force Field.
Oh, is that...
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months since I've played. I sometimes have a hard time keeping the nerfs straight. So basically between Frigate and Colossus, it's basically pointless to get Force Field at this point? Or when do you get Force Field, if ever?
That's partially the idea. So the force fields, not only the comps have changed actually quite a bit to include less missile boats than they used to back in the day.
Say goodbye to the Dread.
Now there's a lot more focus on Dreads with charges, on Colossi with lances, and not so much with missiles altogether. So even those missile boats that used to be missile boats are not really as much focused into missiles. And then you have the frigate, which is kind of a pure missile boat, and that one can bypass the force fields and the PDDs with the rip waves. So all in all, it seems like that's just no longer a useful up.
Yeah, really, the force field was to basically hard counter the frigate. So if Rip Wave just ignores force field, it is just a dead up.
Yeah.
Well, for this comp, it would be a dead up. If they had a BC and they could still block out like a BC and the other small missiles that would be coming through if they needed to make a tight save. But in this, it just won't work.
It's a shame their vaginas are so pussy.
Alright, well, thanks for casting with me, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
GG's.